I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time, and we are getting it cranked up. We are in our bonus episode because it's the fifth Wednesday of July, which is, we don't have those 5 Wednesday July months every month of the year, but so it's one of those months that we got the bonus week going on, the Sunday. We got guns that look like knives and knives that look like guns. And speaking of guns, Congress really came down hard on the head of the Secret Service. In fact, they forced her to volunteer to fire herself in a brutal display of, to me, they used her as an scapegoat for failed policies of Republicans, and they don't have the guts. Republicans and actually people in general in legislation don't have the guts to admit that their policies are shitty, and that they've let this gun violence spiral out of control, but they're worried about the border. And if you're worried about the border and criminals coming over the border, you should be worried about criminals inside our borders that were born here. And gun violence is the number one thing that will divide a society. Violence in general. I mean, it's how empires fall within, not without. Like, the United States will never come down because of an outside force. It's going to be within. And if we're going to crumble, it'll be within. And, it's just like the old saying, you need to worry about cleaning your own house. And when you have lackadaisical gun laws like Pennsylvania does, and you have an open carry law with no prerequisites and any person above 18 can walk around with a gun, what do you expect? And then you foment and promote gun violence, gun brandishing as a political group. You put guns on your Christmas cards as some kind of virtue signaling, and then wonder why your guy, the head of your cult, gets shot. So if he did indeed get shot, which is debatable, he got shot at the very least. And you can't cry about that if you've spent decades weakening common sense gun laws. Like, you pick a lie and run with it. If you're going to cry about gun violence when it happens to you, do something about it. Make this a point. Just like with 9/11, we did something about it. I don't agree with what we did, but we did something about it. We reacted. But it seems like if Trumpkin gets shot at, all of a sudden, oh my God, guns are terrible. I'm like, yeah, we've been saying that for a while. After the 20th, school shooting, it only seems like you only worry about it if they shoot a Christian school, or they shoot one of your cult leaders, or it affects you. But if it doesn't affect you directly, or it doesn't affect the optics of gun safety and societal safety, you don't give two shits. You talk about the doors in the school, you talk about we'll pray for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But one of your own kind in the audience got killed, is unalived because of your gun policy, direct effect of your gun policy. And the Secret Service cannot protect Trump at an open air rally. They just stated that today. It's like, we can't protect him that way. There's no way he was completely exposed on that farm. You can't protect somebody like that. So you either got to change gun policy in this country, lock it, but you can't lock down a farm unless you're going to put somebody on every single rooftop, which they didn't. But also, local law enforcement couldn't do anything about the shooter because he had the right to carry that gun until he fired. There was nothing they could do. They saw him army crawling on that roof, but he can army crawl on that roof, and he can carry that gun because he was outside of the rally. He was not inside the confines of the rally. He did not carry the gun into the rally. He was completely obeying the law. So he pulled the trigger. So you set yourself up, law enforcement and the Secret Service, up for failure, and you do it in one of the most exposed platforms, an open air farm. I'm like, pick some stadiums. Pick your cause. Pick your reason to cry. But you can't have it both ways. Guns are either good or they're not. It's just like the debate of God. Christians say that God's all powerful but all good. You can't be both. You can't watch a tsunami wipe out 250,000 people and say God is all good. What kind of God looks the other way as 250,000 people get wiped out by a giant wave? All powerful, yes, but not all good. And the same way with guns. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And to me, gun violence is fine when it's aimed towards the LGBT community. No big deal. Like many pastors will say, that's what probably should happen. Even Robinson that's running for political office is saying, I mean, it wasn't so bad who the Nazis killed in the 1930s and 40s. They kind of deserved it. After Trump got shot at. And I'm like, so you're okay with certain people getting shot at, certain people getting killed, certain people going to death camps. Okay, got it. That checks out. And this violent talk creates violence. It makes it acceptable. So sociologically, people hear that, and in that case, like the shooter, and I'm not agreeing with the shooter, but you take a 20-year-old that if we're going to do TV shows about gay people, and that's what makes people gay, we talk about we show on TV violence all the time, then violence on TV and violence being talked about at political rallies as being okay. It's the price for guns should be okay too, even if it backfires against you as a Republican. Like, again, pick what you want to cry about. Quit being a snowflake. Suck it up, buttercup. Fuck your feelings. We heard that all during 2017 and 2018. Is fuck your feelings, snowflake. We heard this a long time. And now when the shit sandwich gets put under your face, like, oh my God, you've hurt my feelings. And the big old sissies and queens of the Republican Party, you're really seeing they are getting their comeuppance. They're the ones that led the charge against Biden. They're the ones that fomented the discontent with his age that did not come from Democrats. Democrats stupidly went along with it and forced Biden to step down. But then it backfired because we went and did something crazy. We picked our own candidate, our vice president, to run, and she's a lawfully elected vice president, and she's the next in line, and she's earned the spot, because we don't hang our vice presidents. Maybe you should think twice about trying to hang Mike Pence. Maybe you'd have him around to kick another time. But Elmo's in the news. He is bitching about his daughter, his trans daughter, of getting to transition. And I think what's missed in the press, because I've read the press articles and even the LGBTQ Nation wrote an article, but the press doesn't go far enough in condemning what he's saying. What he's saying is child abuse. As a survivor of child abuse, verbal and physical, I can tell you it lasts a lifetime. Even at my age now, I still have the scars mentally from that. It affects my decisions. It affects how I operate in this world. It affects my ability to trust people. And what he's doing is absolutely abusive, and he should be arrested for it. You know, him dead naming his daughter, him saying, "Oh, I got tricked into it, and it's the woke mind virus." I'm like, no, dude, fuck off. You're using a bully platform to bully your own fucking daughter publicly.
That's pretty pathetic. Yeah,
it's pathetic. He's not a man. He's a fucking punk.
Exactly.
And I would love to see somebody give him his comeuppance. And somebody in the press really needs to hold him accountable instead of go, "Oh, it's Elmo being funny." Elmo, you're not funny. You're not this cool bro that you think you are. You're a fucking apartheid-loving racist bigot. And you are fanning the flames against transgender people for your own fucking agendas so you can get a tax break next year. Fuck all the way off, dude. Like, it's very transphobic. It's very cruel. They said he got tricked into signing the parental release. Well, dude, if you're that easily tricked by a psychologist and a doctor,
how should
you don't need to be running Twitter and Tesla.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the problem, is that you aren't smart enough and disciplined enough to be able to read a parental release. Are you telling me, what were you smoking weed? Were you high when you did it? Like, you know, like when he admitted on Joe Rogan that he smokes weed and Tesla stock dropped. He's so irresponsible because he owns a major social media network and he's getting on this platform and dead naming his daughter, dead naming his own child, saying my son's dead. Not only does your kid end up hearing that, all their friends end up hearing that, but also every trans kid in America also hears that. What a piece of shit. An absolute trash move. But what do you expect from a guy that inherited a fortune that's a trust fund weenie on blood diamonds and apartheid money? What do you expect? The guy has no morals. His family has no morals. There's no moral compass. The dude literally is born out of racism and hate. And then he's not fit to be a parent. And then to try to backtrack that he signed. Well, that's the problem, is that he signed it and he knew he signed it and he knew it was the right thing to do at the time. But now Republicans are probably privately calling him out and go, why did you sign that? And, you know, why do you have a trans daughter and all this? I'm like, because you have a trans fucking daughter. Trans people exist. They've always existed throughout history. So we can't just backtrack an entire population just like gay people have always existed. We're not creating them in a lab somewhere. Gay people have been around way before you or I were born. And they always will be there. But we are up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Hey y'all, thanks for watching Coffee and Pandosi, but I wanted to talk about something personal. I have started a company with a business partner of mine called Java Notes Records. And we have an Instagram page, and in our biography, or as the cool kids call it, the bio, we have a link to our Indiegogo page. If you go onto our Instagram or our Facebook, we have a campaign going for our Indiegogo, and it's helping us start this company that's going to help so many people between employment, charitable events, things of that nature. We're really doing this for our local community and really trying to help others and create a job for me too. But if you would go to our Instagram page for Java, like Java Notes, Records, and I would appreciate the support. Thanks for listening.
All
Bye,
right.
y'all.
So Instagram and Facebook, Java Notes
Records.
Right. Got it. Java Notes Records. All right. Thank you.
Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye-bye. Happy pod.
We are back. But it's like they want to erase trans people's existence. They want to nullify how we exist. And this kind of asshole is leading the charge. And also the press is guilty of feeding this. This is a very much a clickbait subject when there is definitely a right and a wrong on this. Parents of trans kids know it's the right thing to do, to take them to therapists, to take them to medical doctors. It's a medical condition. It's not a flaw in anybody. And as an adult that transitioned as an adult, I can tell you, if I'd grown up in a world where it was easy for us to be able to talk to our doctors and our counselors, I would have started that process at age 6. I would have loved to have talked to a therapist at age 6 or 7. That would have been heaven, even if I didn't, because you can't take hormone pills and things like that until you're a teenager, until you hit puberty. But I would have loved to just been able to talk to somebody that knew what I was, just to be able to have that reassurance to say, hey, I feel weird about this. Help me understand it as a child. That would have been I can't even imagine how different my life would be right now. And to condemn kids that are just seeking help is just the cruelest fucking thing I've ever seen. And I don't understand why these assholes think that it's okay to bully kids. We're talking about bullying kids. Whereas if a non-trans kid needs hormones because of, a condition, there's a lot of conditions that cause you to be able to take puberty blockers, like there's Kleinfellers, there's a whole bunch of things, hormones and puberty blockers were not invented for trans kids. They were invented for non-trans kids for a lot of different conditions because our bodies do things. Shit happens. That's why we have medications, and we act like it's, this is just a trans thing, and it really isn't. On a different note, Rachel Maddow asked Pete Buttigieg if he would be Kamala Harris's running mate, and he's in that group of people that is being bandied around as Harris's possible roommate, running mate. Almost said roommate. She already has that with her husband, but would be the first out LGBT vice president in U.S. history if he gets the nomination and accepts the nomination and they win. And it's an interesting question. Is America ready for a gay vice president and and a gay second husband? Like we've had a second husband for a while with Vice President Harris's husband. It's interesting because now there could be a repeat. There could be a back-to-back. There could be a second husband in a row, whether he's going to be married to a man. And, because Mike Pence probably was the first gay vice president, but we don't count him because he wasn't out of the closet yet. History will only decide that. But anyway, I kind of wonder what, the community thinks, and even what you think, Christian, is as we talk about this, and the show is called Two Queers for a reason. Mm-hmm. What you think about the significance if Pete gets offered this? Do you think he should take it? And what would that mean to you seeing a vice presidential nominee as a queer person?
Yeah, it's only because I want them to succeed, and I don't want him to step into something that's going to cause his family, more challenges. But that's probably my own insecurities and implicit biases. And that's a word coming out. I hope that our generation, the Gen X generation, is the last generation, at least for a while, that cares about these things. I would like for them to look at who's the best person for the job, and like an interview, and not even ask about their home life, and have
Yeah,
them all stand up and have her say, interview for the job, interview. And I think if that was the case, I think he would be up there. If she was sitting down and interviewing him for jobs, I think that he can hold his own. He's a smart guy. He would make a good vice president. And so, will it happen this time? I don't know, but I think the millennials and baby Z's, they don't even talk about these things as much as we do.
yeah,
You know.
no. And you're not wrong. Our
Hmm.
generation and the generation older than us, and we talked about this off camera, how
Yeah.
people are older people 40 and up especially, really make a lot of this shit a big deal. And it shouldn't be a
Hmm.
big deal who Pete's married to.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't. Just like with a mixed race or a mixed couple, like, mixed ethnicities, it shouldn't matter,
Yeah.
if it's a black and white couple or, whatever. And like with Vice President Harris, she's married to a white man, a white
Yeah.
Jewish man at that. But it doesn't matter who her husband is. It shouldn't
Hmm.
matter. You're exactly right. It should matter. Are they qualified to do the job? But so identity politics is alive and well, especially in the Republican Party. But unfortunately, our society has also conditioned ourselves to care about who the person is. And it's a mixed bag because we want them to also be ethical. We also
Hmm.
want their personal decisions, like, I don't know, hiring a porn star to sleep with you while you're married, while your wife's pregnant. We want that to matter too. So it's kind of a catch 22. We do want their character to matter. We do want to know what their history is. We want to know their
Yeah.
decision making. But then that also leads to, well, we need to know about their personal life as a public official, as somebody that is going to be making public decisions about LGBT issues,
Hmm.
marriage equality, and so many other things that the government has jumped into. But maybe that's a bigger argument of saying, well, maybe that's why we should get government out of that, and we should pass civil rights things for everybody once and for all, and then be done with it. Because we could write a very inclusive federal policy of saying LGBT rights are codified, body autonomy is codified, and then we end this argument. The same way with immigration. If we had a cohesive modern immigration policy like almost every Western European nation and Canada and all these other countries seem to be able to make immigration work. But for some reason, the hillbillies of the United States, we can't make immigration work. Somehow we have a hair on fire policy of internment camps and separating families and everything like that. I'm like, how the fuck do all the European nations handle all the refugees they get? And they've gotten them over the years, and including from the Ukraine right now. Europe is flooded with Ukrainian refugees. You don't hear them getting on the deal and go, "Whoa, we can't stand all these Ukrainian refugees coming from the east. Our eastern borders are getting invaded." And we don't see any European rednecks getting on the TV going, "We can't stand that we have all these Ukrainians. They're affected. And we're going to end up with mixed babies with Ukrainian blood and all this crazy fucking xenophobic crap." But that's what it comes down to. And especially from a political party like the Republican Party, where their vice presidential nominee is married to an immigrant. Their presidential nominee, married to an immigrant. And all they do is bitch about immigration. And it's just ironic that the political party of immigrants doesn't want immigrants.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley, the daughter of immigrants from India. She's Indian, folks. She ain't white. She ain't a white Southern belle. Okay? And it's okay to call her Nimrata. Because if it's okay by Elmo to dead name people, let's call her Nimrata from now on. I ain't gonna call her Nikki anymore. She's Nimrata Haley. And screw that. You know, if you're gonna dead name people, if you're going to point out what they are on the Democrat side, Joe Biden's old. Yes, he's old. He's fucking old. We know he's old. He was old when he accepted the nomination in 2022. He was the oldest presidential candidate in American history then. And up until him quitting the race, he was the oldest one. Now Trump is. So why are we talking about Trump? Why are we talking about who J.D. Vance is married to? Why do we have to concentrate on who Pete Buttigieg is married to? Because he's married to a man? Because they adopted kids? They got a family? They got a cute little family. Their kids are adorable. You know, and we seem preoccupied. And as Democrats, we're kind of letting them do this. We're following along when we shouldn't be going like, what does it matter who's Pete's married to? Or Governor Newsom, or you know, any of the possible vice president. I don't care who Mark Kelly's married to, because Mark Kelly's spouse isn't the vice presidential nominee. Mark Kelly may be the vice presidential nominee. I'm more worried about him. Just like I'm not worried about who J.D. Vance is married to. I find it delicious he's married to an immigrant. I think it's ironic. I think the fact that she's not white is ironic. As people from El Salvador come over our border for a better life because they're choosing between death or life. And we get mad at them going, but we're the one that caused all the problems in El Salvador. The United States' bad policies with Panama, El Salvador, and Nicaragua has caused decades of fucking strife in Central America. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about the narco wars and stuff like that, because, you know, that would be accepting actual blame and being responsible adults. And we don't want to do that in politics either. I know you're exactly right. Why should we talk about Pete's husband? What does it matter? Chasen's not running for office. He never has. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care who Pete's married to. He can marry his dog if he wants to.
Girl, someone's gonna say that now. Next they're gonna marry dogs. The woke mom.
Well, I mean, I've seen some of the Republican wives. But anyway, we're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Queers in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
Hey, thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck. And Christian and I just blathering on about craziness in the world today. Y'all be safe out there. There is a lot of Republicans on the road.
That's right.
Have a good week out there.
Bye. I mean, not to borrow a Trump line, but he did kind of say that to Ted Cruz's wife.
Exactly.
And Ted Cruz still kissed his ass when Trump got the nomination. I mean, he bent at the knee pretty fast. You know, it's the big old queens of the Republican Party. They sure do it about face on things when they're proven to be as stupid as they actually are. Once we find out publicly how stupid they are, it's a pretty amazing. An interesting article came out. A gospel singer, and I have no idea who this person is. I don't listen to gospel music. Um, Kim Burrell apologizes because she, I guess, went off on some kind of homophobic sermon, and now she's in hot water because I guess just like Mark Robinson, they don't realize that the interwebs and the social medias exist, and I guess it got leaked or it came out of their clan meeting or whatever. But she called homosexuality a perversion, but I don't think she realizes most choir directors, and especially in Baptist churches, they're homosexuals. If you go to live theater, you wouldn't have live theater without homosexuals. Just think about that for all these fools that go to Branson and Gatlinburg and all these places to see these shows. Let me tell you what, if there wasn't a gay theater director in there, those shows wouldn't be happening. And if Andy Williams and Glenn Campbell and all those people didn't care that their theater director was gay, and you can come on, like they're sitting there going, people, places. And
Who said this? Who said it, Jen?
This Kim Burrell, this gospel singer, and it was delivered in a sermon from 2016, but because the internet's forever, I guess she got popular or something. I don't know, but for whatever reason, it bubbled to the surface, and because if you say something like that, and especially if you've said it since the year 2000. And it got caught on tape. It got caught in a deal, and it's verifiable. Hell, even if it's not verifiable, you eventually are going to pay for that. And I guess she's been on. She's lost some radio and TV shows because of this, because of her homophobic tirade. And I guess now she's trying to. She said she wanted to apologize to the LGBTQ community. Let's give them a big round of applause. We want them to know, to have the strength and the sincerity to know that we must all embrace the all of God's people. So, and love everyone. So now she wants to love thy neighbor. Now that she's lost gigs over this and she's been outed as a bigot, she's like, oh, Now I'll be nice. I'll play nice. But in 2016, at the beginning of Trumpism, obviously she didn't want to play nice. She wanted to be fuck those feelings. Well, she can fuck all the way off too, because she's exactly what gets queer people killed. Because somebody hears some entertainer say something like that and say that we're perversion. Next thing you know, we're groomers. Next thing you know, we're in the crosshairs of a gun. And this is what leads to violence, is people like this. So she shouldn't get gigs. She shouldn't get commercials. She shouldn't have a career. And she needs to go back and find a job at Target or Walmart or something and just realize she should be in jail for inciting violence to people. And people like this should be held accountable. And whether it's the court of public opinion, people like this don't need a platform, because if she's a bigot once, as we saw with Toulouse, she tried to backtrack her bigotry, and then she finally said, no, I'm a bigot. We always knew you were a bigot, and the press tried to make you more than you were. You're just a plain old bigot, and your parents are bigots too, and, may you drop in the ocean. And I don't, I get to the point where when these conservatives are openly bigoted, history in the modern era needs to put them exactly where they're at. You don't deserve, if you're a bigot, and all of a sudden you say, well, now I don't want to be a bigot because it's affecting my life. I'm going, well, you should have thought about it for those years of bigotry. Like if you did a one-off or an accident, everybody errs. We all fuck up. Christian's fucked up. I fucked up. We all say stupid things. There's a ton of stuff I regret saying in my life. That happens. Shit happens. That's why running for political office is so hard. I mean, the fact that Christian, you ran twice, which I don't know why you would put yourself through that twice, but you wanted to serve the public. And I admire that about you. But you put yourself in the crosshairs for the public good twice. It's a miserable process. Running for office is a miserable process. There's nothing fun about it. And people try to gloss over the fact that politicians are human beings too. And when you put yourself out there for public scrutiny and everything you say is now captured on a camera phone, you can't even go to the bathroom without it making a news. But it also creates accountability too. So we run that fine line of, if you foment racism, if you foment, bigotry, you should be held accountable. Like we should have held Trump accountable a long time ago. A lot of these problems, if we would have held him accountable in 2016, so maybe we shouldn't let him run. The Republican Party would have done the right thing and nominated one of the other fools, and then Hillary probably would have ended up beating them. And then we would, there's a lot, our country would be a lot different. We'd have had 4 years of Hillary versus 4 years of Trump. I can tell you. There's a gay Republican leader that's shocked to find his fellow conservatives are calling him a pedophile. I have no words. And gay Trump supporters, Juan Hernandez and Charles Moran, and other leaders in the log cabin Republicans, what don't they understand? Like, they literally force you to be in your own version of the Republican Party because you're gay. It's called the log cabin. There's no log cabin Democrats. They don't force you to be in an auxiliary. No, we do have LGBT chapters, but we're also in the main Democrat Party. We're also allowed to run for office. We also aren't attacked internally like Republicans now. And you're wondering why they're just gay Republican leaders shocked to find his fellow conservatives are calling him a pedophile. I wouldn't even admit that. I'd be like, I'm not going to even talk about it. Like, of course they are. Because they say it about non-Republican gays. What did you expect? All of a sudden, because you're a Republican, it's going to give you a big old bear hug and it's going to be all good? Like, is that the way it works? Hate is hate. And hate's equal opportunity. Just like love is typically equal opportunity, hate is also equal opportunity. Usually a bigot hates everybody. I mean, that may make the exception. Oh, I got at least one black friend. Or I've got one gay friend. He's pretty good for a homo. He's a pretty nice guy for a homo. We've all heard that. I'm probably the token friend of several conservatives, and I don't know it. Oh, Jenny's good for a trans testicle. You're muted. But it's hilarious because
he's not like the other ones.
Yeah, he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the good ones.
He's one of those good ones, winky face.
That's right.
And you're like, become one of the good ones again?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not sure I want to be one of the good ones. I'm like, no, I want to be one of the bad ones. Because if a bigot likes me, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not pushing back hard enough. I'm not speaking out enough. Like, if conservative bigots are agreeing with me, I need to check my notes and see what I'm saying, because obviously they shouldn't agree with me. Or they've had a change of heart, but I doubt most bigots don't really change their heart. Like, it's who you are.
Mhm.
You know, you see somebody like Elon Musk, and he's had so much time to recant what he's saying, and he keeps doubling down. He keeps saying stupider and stupider stuff. And the same way with this gay Republican. Like, I'm surprised they hate me.
Mhm.
Dude, they've hated you the whole time. Just because to your face they say you are one of the good ones. There's a reason why Lindsey Graham has been in politics for 40 years and is still in the closet.
Exactly. Yeah.
That big old queen ain't coming out until he retires. And he probably is going to die in office. He's probably going to live the rest of his life in the Senate. What do you think the chances of Lindsey Graham coming out of the closet while he's still in the Senate in this lifetime, in this timeline? They put themselves in their own trick bag because they're the ones fomenting the hate. They're the ones saying gay men are pedophiles, trans women are pedophiles, groomers, all this. They're the ones that start all this bullshit. It's like carrying around a rattlesnake and surprised that the rattlesnake bites you. You're carrying around a rattlesnake, dude. Surprise! I don't know why we're getting shot with guns, even though we've allowed every gun law to lapse. Can't imagine. Have no idea. Maybe putting guns on your Christmas cards and promoting guns wasn't the best idea. Can you just admit that? Can we just start with the baseline that maybe what you said 8 years ago was stupid? And then we can go forward. We can heal from that. Like, just admit you're stupid. Let's move on. You know, like it's no big deal. Everybody says something stupid. That's the whole point of this. Everybody. I have not met a single person that hasn't said something stupid in their lifetime, usually multiple things. I probably say it on a daily basis. But I'm willing to admit that I'm full of fuckery and chicanery. Like, I know that I do dumb things. But at some point, I'm willing to own it. You can't keep doubling down on stupid. It's not a good look. And it fucks up your life. And eventually it catches up to you. That was the last segment. We are out of time for this week, the last Wednesday of July. And the next time you see us, it'll be August.
Wow.
Yes. Charlotte
It's
Pride.
crazy.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Babu.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching Two Queers in a Truck, and we appreciate y'all. Again, super hot out there. Record temperatures. Hottest summer on record. We keep saying this year after year. But be careful out there. Heat stroke isn't worth it. Pace yourself. Drink lots of water. Make sure that you're aware of how long you've been outside. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Babu.
Bye, boo.